Hi everybody. I just wanted to share with you my lunch bags that I'm making for the September lunch bag upcycle swap now going on at your paper pantry. And so for September we were to do Halloween themed lunch bags and provide an image on the lunch bag. So that's the requirement. And they're supposed to be what would be like a treat bag. And you have to just use a store-bought lunch bag like this one. So not the Michaels one, just a regular store-bought lunch bag. So I'm just going to take you through my process of creating this. So the first thing I started off with doing is glimmer misting the bag, both fronts and backs and bottoms and sides. So I used an old olive homemade glimmer mist that I had made, and I also used elegant eggplant. So I just sprayed the whole thing with old olive all over. And then because it's a paper bag, I didn't want it to tear, so I just used a rag and just dabbed it a bit. And then I used the eggplant on the spots where I didn't have the old olive. So you just go on to do that on all the sides, the top and the bottom, and then open it up and do all of the sides as well. Okay, I've got all my bags sprayed, so just a fine little glimmer mist to them, and then a little discoloration of color, which is kind of nice. And I like the way when the bags were wet from the spray, they got a little bit wrinkled up. So now I'm just going to fold my bag the way it's supposed to be folded. And I am going to take some Distress ink and just ink around the edges with Distress ink. And the color that I'm using is this Spiced Marmalade and Black Soot. So I'm just going to take my sponges and ink around all of the bags with Distress ink, just to grunge them up a little bit. And these brown bags take the ink so nicely. I'm working on a piece of wax paper because my craft mat is in my room somewhere. I am in the middle of getting ready for a big Christmas craft sale, so I've got everything out and all around me, because if I put it away, I'll forget to finish it. So I figured rather than waste time looking for my mat, I'll just use some wax paper. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all done, and I'll be right back. There, I've got my bag all inked up there. I made special attention around the edges and the bottom and sides because I'm going to be placing something in the middle. So I picked up these little beverage napkins from my dollar store, and they were $1 for 24 of them. So I'm going to do my usual technique where I take the napkin apart, and first thing I'm going to do for the lunch bag is cut it in half. And I want to put, you can see these 4 little jack-o'-lanterns on here, and only one of them is black. So I want to put the black one like that, and it doesn't matter if it's straight or crooked or not, and this one on the other side. So what you do again is you separate the lining that's on the napkin, just peels away really, really easily. And just be patient and gentle so you don't tear your napkin, but it comes away pretty. You can see how easily that comes away. And then you're going to take some acrylic gel medium and just adhere this down to the front and the back of your lunch bag, like so. And sort of leaving a little bit of space here at the top, and having most of your jack-o'-lantern down at the bottom. So I just picked up some brand new acrylic gel medium. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Just like this. Just use it just like you would glue or Mod Podge. You could use Mod Podge and you could use glue. I just happen to have this handy, so stick it there. can go over it with a brayer if you want, but your hand for this project should be just fine. And then go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So I've got my bag, the napkin covered on both sides of the bag, as I showed you before. So this is a little bit of that tore there, but again, it's no big deal. This, I told you there was one black background, so I wanted that at the bottom for a reason, and I'll explain it to you in a minute. I'm just going to put that aside, just let it dry for a second. And then I found an image, a vintage image of these goons dressed up in Halloween costumes. And I printed them out quite small and in sepia tones, so if you can get a good picture of them. That was so funny, the caption underneath said, "The next cast for The Bachelor." So they're little, they're probably 1 by 2 inch frame images. So I found this frame in my stash, but of course I didn't have 6 of them. So what I did is I put black cardstock in the Stampin' Up! Dotted Swiss embossing folder. If you can see, I'm trying to hold this so you can see the dots there, the raised dots. And so I'm going to take my knife and just cut out 5 of these frames with my knife, and then I will insert the image. I'll move it off the wax paper actually, and just stick it here. And the easy way to cut out the center is to, let me just get this cut quick, is to make an X across the center and then go down the sides, and you tend to get a really good cut that way. So there, and then in the center, I don't know if you can see me, I'll try and move this so you can see. There we go. So line up your frame and then hold it down quite tightly and just make a diagonal line across. And then just go up one side. So cut out triangles first instead of trying to cut out that whole square. It's just a lot easier. And then it'll just pop right out. So there, I've made a little frame. And if it didn't come out perfectly, that's okay, because this whole bag I'm making, I'm kind of grunging it up and roughing up the edges of everything anyway. So if it's not super tidy, that's okay. So next I'm going to do is just going to take my scissors. I have a distressing tool, but my scissors are handy, so I'm just going to lightly kind of just rough up the edges of my little frame here. And then I'm going to take some gold buffing cream and put a little bit on my finger. I use this one, gold leaf buffing stuff. I got it at Michael's. Sorry, I think I was out of camera. And just put a little bit on your finger. Just rub it along the edges of the frame, like that. Then I'm going to cut out one of the images here. And then just apply some glue with my ATG gun to the sides of the frame, right close to the edge of the opening. And I have my little image here. Get all the stuff out of the way and just pop the little image into the frame. There. And then I will just take a piece of cardstock on the back and mount that on the back to close it up. So there's my little framed image of some people in vintage Halloween costumes. The next thing I'm going to do, I was by our local fabric store, it's called Fabricland, and they had 70% off all the holiday fabric, including Halloween, which I thought was odd because it's just Halloween now, and I love this fabric. It's black and it's spider webs. So I'm just going to cut off a piece here, making sure I include that big circular spider web. I cut a piece about so big. I'd say it's about a 8-inch square. Just going to fold it on the diagonal. I'm going to fold my piece on the diagonal and then just cut out an opening right here with my scissors. I just want this to fit around the opening of the top of the bag. So it's like a piece of fabric with a hole in it. Next, I'm going to take my glue gun and my bag, and I'm going to start gluing this all the way around the top of the bag. Okay, I've gone ahead and glued the lace all the way around so it gives that kind of spider webby look to the top of the bag. Just love that. And then I picked up some of these from the dollar store, these little skeletons. I love them. And I was actually, when I got them home, I thought I was going to put some red stickles in their eyes, but they already came that way. So I snipped off the little thread. I took my picture frame, I glued it on the other side of the bag there. You can see my skeleton, and he's holding that picture, that image in his hands. And then at the very bottom here, I took just a regular office size vanilla tag, just the regular size one, traced them out in black cardstock. I stamped, had a little spider web stamp and one that said trick or treat. And then first I crinkled it, well here it is, here's the tag. I crinkled it all up like this first and then smoothed it all out. Took some Stampin' Up! Whisper White craft ink. I love craft ink. I just love the way it stamps. I stamped the little spider web right up at the top here. And then I stamped the words trick or treat, because this is a treat bag, at the bottom. Then I took a sponge and dipped it in the craft ink and then lightly touched over the edges and just over the front end, and the creases picked up some of that white ink. And then just kind of grunged it up a bit and rolled up a corner and just, you know, roughed up the edges so there's a little bit torn edges. And then just curled that up and just added a little bit more white ink on the corner of the tag. So I went on to do that. So I added some orange twine in my tag and just tied it, didn't put it in a bow, and I'm just going to adhere that to the front underneath my skeleton feet, just like that to the front of the bag. So here's my one side of my treat bag. So we got our skeleton, our photo image, and our trick or treat tag. So then on the other side, the reason I put the little dark background pumpkin there is because I took another little Stampin' Up! Stamp, this one it says Boo, and then I punched out with a 1 1/4 inch punch, punched out 2 of these little boos. And then I just took a random piece of cardstock. It's about 1/4 inch in width, and I have no idea how long it is because it doesn't matter. And so then I just folded it up accordion style real quick, and I'm going to glue one side onto the eye of the pumpkin here, like that, and then glue the pumpkin down on top of that accordion plate. I've been using my glue gun for this project because these are going to be handled quite a bit, and the glue gun is, once it's glued on with that, you know it's going to stay on. So, got my eye. Here's one. So here are my finished treat bags. This is the one side with the image and the tag that says trick or treat, and this is the other side of the bag with the little googly eyes that say boo. So I think those turned out really, really cute, and I hope Roxy likes them, and I'll get them off into the mail. And if you're interested in this paper bag swap, go and check yourpaperpantry.ning.com and sign up for all the swaps they have. They're really a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. Bye.